Megan Martinez.
I'm Katherine Koegel.
And today we're going to be talking about Charles C. Taylor and the disappearance of Flight 19 and the conspiracy theories that surround that.
Okay, on December 5th, 1945, Flight 19 disappeared from the Bahamas to Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Okay, so a little bit about Charles C. Taylor. He was known for his carelessness. Before the crash of Flight 19, he had actually crashed 2 planes overseas before this event took place, and he had to be rescued and taken back to shore. And also, there were rumors surrounding Flight 19 the night before they were supposed to fly. Apparently, he was drinking a lot, and he woke up the next morning really sick, and he even asked if there was someone who could fly for him because he didn't feel good and he wasn't ready to fly. But unfortunately, there was no one there to take over, so he had to go along with the flight. And he was also described to be a loner or a lost soul. He was a really attractive man, so there were a lot of women attracted to him, and a lot of people said that he could have been with any woman he wanted to be. And at one point, he was even dating a famous actress at the time named Jinx Falkenberg. But he was a closed book. He really didn't share his life with anybody. One of the people he worked with said that he just wandered through life. And the only reason that he stayed in the Navy after the war ended was because he didn't know what else to do with his life.
Okay, so another thing about Charles is that he was very knowledgeable. He attended college in Corpus Christi, Texas, and that's where he decided to become a pilot. He went there for 4 years and is known to have multiple thousands of hours in the air, and he's been a pilot and directed many flights. Another thing he's known for is being stubborn. So in Flight 19, whenever they began to get lost, he said to the rest of his pilots in the other planes that they were above the Gulf of Mexico and he wanted to land the planes in Florida. But everyone around him disagreed and said, no, we need to follow normal protocols and go back, point our planes to the sunset and go back to mainland. But Charles was stubborn. He said, no, we're going to do what I say since I'm leading everyone, and that's what caused them to get lost.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about a few of the conspiracy theories. One conspiracy theory is that the area of the Bermuda Triangle and from the Bahamas to Florida is just an area of really bad weather. There's a lot of hurricanes and cyclones that take place in this area, and a lot of times bad weather will just suddenly occur without any warning. So that's one of the possible causes of the disappearance of Flight 19.
Another possible cause is hexagonal clouds. So this is pretty much air pockets that form underneath the ocean, and then whenever they rise above the sea level, they end up getting into the air, and what this does is it increases the wind speeds, and it's unknown, so they can't prevent this from happening, and they can't predict when it will happen. So whenever the winds increase, these can set off their planes off track without them knowing what the reason is.
Another conspiracy theory is the possibility of methane hydrates. It is known that there's large deposits of methane under the seafloor, and when these hydrates burst, the atmosphere gets filled with methane, and when there's too much methane in the atmosphere, it can cause a lot of turbulence, and it has caused planes to crash before. So some people believe that this just suddenly happened and they weren't able to control the planes and that they crashed.
Another conspiracy theory is electronic fog, and pretty much this fog is known to enter into ships or planes whenever you fly above the Bermuda Triangle, and what it does is pretty much messes up all the electronics. It messes up whenever you're trying to talk to anyone on the mainland, or compasses tend to misread things, and this happened to happen in Flight 19 because Charles reported that his compasses were messed up, but this again still can't be the reason for why they got lost because they had the sunset to follow, knowing which way was correct.
And another conspiracy theory is that this is just an area of paranormal activity. Some people believe that the lost city of Atlantis stood somewhere between the Bahamas and Florida, and the lost city of Atlantis was really advanced for its time. They had a lot of technology that the rest of the world didn't have, but unfortunately the city was hit by a major flood, and the whole city was submerged underwater. So some people believe that the technology that went down with the city is causing problems with ships and planes that go over this area, and that it's causing signals between the aircrafts and the bases to be disrupted. or causing the compasses to go crazy, which is something that he reported. So that's another possible reason that Flight 19 disappeared.
Okay. And then we have our works cited.